ॐ सर्वकामवरश्चैव सर्वदः सर्वतोमुखः आकाशनिर्विरूपश्च निपाती ह्यवशः खगः सर्वकामवरश्चैव सर्वदः सर्वतोमुखः आकाशनिर्विरूपश्च निपाती ह्यवशः खगः सर्वकामवरश्चैव सर्वदः सर्वतोमुखः आकाशनिर्विरूपश्च निपाती ह्यवशः खगः. This word here is Hyavashah. Hyavashah. Hyavashah Khagaha. Akashanir Virupascha Nipati. Hyavashah Khagaha. Sarvakama Varash Chaiva Sarvadas Sarvato Mukhaha. Akashanir विरूपश्च निपाति ह्यवशः खगः सर्वकामवरः. He is the boon which is given to any and any which boon that one asks. So sarvakama if you don't have a question, please make sure you're on mute kindly. Please be on mute. Okay. Sarvakama varaschaiva. He is the boon which can be given to any desire, to any which desire, uh, he is the boon. So, for example, all these many asuras and devas would ask for boons from Shiva. If there's any calamity in the world, all the devas would approach Shiva. If there is any requirement for strength and power to conquer, the asuras would approach Shiva, and so on and so forth. So, he is the vara to fulfill any which boon. Sarvadaha, he gives anything, he can give everything. Sarvadaha. Sarvato mukhaha, he has faces in all directions. Sarvataha mukhaha becomes Sarvato mukhaha. In Kannada, we say Sarvato mukhi pratibha, which means a multifaceted, all-encompassing talent. So that is the word Sarvato mukha, which comes from the Samskrta word Sarvato mukhaha. So he has faces in all directions. So there is this very important depiction of Shiva as being the Panchamukhi. He has five faces in the four cardinal direction and one facing above. So that is one artistic depiction of this tattva of him being Sarvato Mukhaha. He has his face everywhere, which means he is looking in every direction. And one other geometric significance is if you see, if you have a circle, the center point of the circle can be called a Sarvatomukha Kendra. Why? Because from that, if you stand at that center, you can look at any which place on the circle at the periphery and any which place inside the circle also. So that is the power of being at the center. And Shiva, of course, is at the center of everything. So he is a Sarvatomukha. Akasha Nirvirupascha. He is Nirvirupa. Virupa means special form. Nirvirupa means that which does not have any particular special form. And how? Like an akasha, like the space around us, like the cosmos, like the sky. Can we show what the color or space of the sky is or the shape of the sky is? We cannot. It is, you can just say it just holds all things together. So we cannot really define a shape or a boundary to space. Similarly, for to Shiva, though we just artistically depict him as being this yogi, this muscular, well-built yogi with five faces and so on, he in his true nature is Akasha Nirvirupa. He has no particular form and he is like the space around us. It is in him that we all exist. In it is in this Shiva Tattva that we all exist. Nipati. Nipata means that which is avyaya, that which is indestructible. So Nipati also similarly means he who holds this power of indestructibility. Uh, he, of course, being the destroyer, has to be, no, because he destroys everything, he himself cannot be destructible. Do you see? For example, there is this very peculiar definition of water not being flammable, and which is why we are using it to extinguish other fires. If water itself would catch fire, would we ever use it to put out any other fire? No. Similarly, Shiva himself, by definition and by necessity, must be indestructible. So he is Nipati. He avashaha. Avashaha means he surrenders to nobody. Avashaha. Vasha means to be in control or to be in surrender of, to be in the custody of. So avashaha means who has no custody, which means he bows down to nobody, he is surrendered to nobody, which means there is no superior or supervisor to Shiva. So there is no boss man to Shiva. Shiva himself is the biggest, the big boss, BIGG boss, big boss. And Khaga is, he is a, um, what do you say? He is a mm, one who traverses in space, is called literally a Khaga. Khaga also means a bird. Khaga means also a bird. Khagaha, why do they use that here? So it is used to refer to Shiva because one, he is of the form of all birds. And secondly, because he walks in space, because he being an energy travels through space like light. So he is Khagaha. सर्वकामवरश्चैव सर्वदः सर्वतोमुखः आकाशनिर्विरूपश्च निपाति ह्यवशः खगः रौद्ररूपोऽंशुरादित्यो बहुरश्मिः सुवर्चसि वसुवेगो महावेगो मनोवेगो निशाचरः रौद्ररूपोऽंशुरादित्यो बहुरश्मिः सुवर्चसि वसुवेगो महावेगो मनोवेगो निशाचरः. How do we split this word? Raudra Rupom Shuradityo. It's not the technical way to split the sandhis, but I'm just, for the ease of recitation, helping you out by splitting this as Raudra Rupom Shuradityo. Raudra Rupom Shuradityo Bahurashmis Suvarchasi Vasuvego Mahavego Manovego Nishacharaha. Raudra Rupaha. He is of the form of fiery rage. Raudra. We also say in one of the Navarasas, we have Raudra, which means rage, wrath. Raudra Rupaha. He is of the form of wrath. Amshuradityaha. Amshuhu Adityaha. Amshu means a ray of light. Amshu means a ray of light. Aditya, of course, is the sun, the sun, S-U-N, sun, who is the son, S-O-N, of Aditi. Sun is also referred to Aditya because he was born from his mother Aditi. And one other trivia here is that Aditi is actually also a goddess, one of the very few goddesses mentioned in the earliest of all texts, which is the Rig Veda. And there, Aditi, she is represented as being the goddess of the entire space. So the limitless expanse of pitch dark space, that is called as Aditi, the Aditi Tattva. And so because sun is born in space, you see how scientific it is? Because he is born in space, we call him Aditya. And metaphorically, he was, in Puranic terms, he was called, he is born to the sun. He is the son of Aditi and Kashyapa. So there is also a large hidden mysterious meanings to all of these Puranic stories. So Aditya is the sun, and he's Amshu. Amshu means rays, R-A-Y-S, rays. Bahurashmihi, he has many rays. So he is also one ray, just one single ray, and one focused single ray, and he is also Bahurashmi. He has many rays. And Suvarchasi, he is resplendent. He is effulgent. Suvarchasi, a very resplendent. Varchas means uh, splendor. So Suvarchasi means he has the greatest splendor. Vasuvegaha. Vasuvegaha. He has the speed, the pace of the Vasus. Vasu, there are 8 Vasus. Again, a little bit of Puranic, background is Vasus are there are 8 Vasus, Ashta Vasu we say. And so these Vasus are the primary, I would say primary, the first line of ministers after Indra. So these are called the Vasus. They are assigned the charge of the directions, one. Some other Puranas say they are in charge of all the wealth of the world. Vasu literally means wealth. And so Vasuveg, and so these gods, these first line of you can say prime ministers, these are said to be the greatest, most powerful in the hierarchy of gods, and they are also the quickest. And so Vasuvegaha means Shiva has the Vega, can match the Vega of the Vasus. Mahavegaha, very fast. Manovegaha, he has the speed of the mind. And Nishacharaha, he can also traverse and tread in the darkest of nights. Fearless. Nisha means night, Night, night. He can traverse in the fearless and the darkest of nights, and metaphorically also the darkest of nights, in a sense, when in the darkest of turmoils and tribulations, Shiva Charati, he comes along with us, right? So Raudra Rupam Shuradityo Bahurashme Suvarchasi Vasuvego Mahavego Manovego Nishachara Sarvavasi Shriyavasi Upadesha Karo मुनिरात्म निरालोकस संभग्नश्च सहस्रदः सर्ववासी श्रियावासी उपदेश करोकरः मुनिरात्म निरालोकस संभग्नश्च सहस्रदः सर्ववासी श्रियावासी उपदेश करोकरः मुनिरात्म निरालोकस संभग्नश्च सहस्रदः सर्ववासी श्रियावासी उपदेश करोकरः मुनिरात्मनिरालोकः संभग्नश्च सहस्रदः Sarvavasi, he is present everywhere. Shriyavasi, he is present in anything which is talented. Shriya means that which is wealth. So in very gross terms, it is told as wealth. But the actual term Shriya means something which is very skillful, very. So you see, because we gain most of our wealth. True wealth is earned only through skills and hard work of using the skills. So Shriya also means skills. Shriya Vasi, he resides. That is, there is godness in each of our works, each of our wealth, however big or small our bags of wealth are, but still it is all Shiva, which is why we prostrate. If a coin falls on the ground, we have such a nice culture of just looking at apologizing and seeing it in veneration. So wealth, however small, large, big note, small note, 1,000, 2,000 rupee note, whatever it is all Shiva. Upadesha Karaha, he gives us the instructions. You see, as Dakshinamurti, the first primordial deity in the pantheon is Shiva himself, called the Adi Yogi, giving the Upadesham in silence. That's the beauty there. You see, because we as humans and mortals need to hear words to understand things. Swami Chinmayananda once again gives a very nice example. You see, there are two lovers. There's a lover and beloved. And when the love between them, maybe let's say they're married, and they have they're in love and they're married to such an extent that you can actually read the other person without even having to speak. I mean, I myself don't have any experience in this matter, but I'm sure that it may be the experience of many wedded people. So you can just understand things without having to speak. So at our mortal level itself, if that is possible, we can just imagine that Shiva, being the god himself, to the other gods, the other deities, he would just preach in silence. Akaraha. Akaraha is one who does nothing. Karaha means to karoti. Karoti means to do. Akaraha. He is not the doer. At other place we have seen he is a karta. He also is the doer. So how do we reconcile these two? Like I said, Shiva, it's the beauty of Shiva itself lies in this paradox. So Shiva and Shakti represent the unresolvable, irreconcilable yet beautiful paradox of this universe. So, on one hand, he is a karta, he does things because he is also the body, he is also the mind. So, it is the body which moves, it is the mind which moves. So, in that sense, he is the karta. He is also the akarta, he is also the akara because he is also the atma, and atma can neither do nor be, it is only there always. So, it is akaraha. Muniratma niralokaha. Munihi. Munihi means he is a saint, he is a sage, a very popular depiction. Atma niralokaha. He always is indulged in the niraloka, which means the continuous watching of Atma, of himself. You see, it is not something special that Buddha told about Vipassana, and all this. To watch yourself, to watch your breath, to watch your heartbeat, to watch the movement of the mind. It is not anything new. In fact, he actually, though he may not have cited the sources, but all this concept is very much so present in the Yoga Upanishads. And of course, Shiva himself is the preacher of all those Upanishads, and he is himself the greatest yogi. He is the Muni. And so he is the one who first taught us this method to watch ourselves very closely and incessantly without judgments. This is basically what Vipassana is, it not? To just watch our thoughts pass by, just as a bystander would watch lots of vehicles move at different paces. Some are good, some are bad, some are polluting, some are not polluting, some are electric vehicles, some are making a lot of noise, some are not making a lot of noise. There are other passerbys close by, and there are passengers. There's a lot of commotion, but I, as the watcher of this road and all this chaos, I am unaffected because I'm standing on the footpath. You see? So similarly, Shiva, who is the Atma in all of us, he is like this bystander, just watching himself and all that which is unfolding before him. Sambhagnascha. Sambhagna. Bhagna means to destroy, to cut in two, to be rendered useless, to break. Bhagna. Sambhagnascha. He is the ultimate destruction. He is the ultimate uh, annihilation, vanquishing of everything. The pralaya itself. Sambhagnaha cha. Sahasradaha. At the same time, once again, he can also be the most merciful Lord, giving us anything that we desire and giving us in thousands. Sahasra daha. Daha means dadati. He gives. Sahasra daha. He gives to thousands of people thousands of things. Sahasradaha. Sarvavasi Shriyavasi Upadeshakaro Karaha Muniratmaniraloka Sambhagnascha Sahasradaha Pakshi cha Paksharupash च अतिदीप्तो विशाम्पतिः उन्मादो मदनः कामो ह्यश्वत्थोऽर्थकरो यशः. Pay attention. पक्षी च पक्षरूपश्च अतिदीप्तो विशाम्पतिः. Simple. उन्मादो मदनः कामो ह्यश्वत्थोर् ह्यश्वत्थोर् HYASHVATTHR ह्यश्वत्थोर्. Say it again. ह्यश्वत्थोर्. ह्यश्वत्थोर्. ह्यश्वत्थोर् थकरो यशः. ह्यश्वत्थोर् थकरो यशः. ह्यश्वत्थोर् थकरो यशः. ह्यश्वत्थोर् थकरो यशः. उन्मादो मदनः कामो ह्यश्वत्थोर् थकरो यशः. पक्षी च पक्षरूपश्च अतिदीप्तो विशाम्पतिः उन्मादो मदनः कामो ह्यश्वत्थोऽर्थकरो यशः. Pakshi, he is the bird. Paksharupascha, he is of the form of wings. We say left wing, right wing, center wing, up wing, down wing, all that. Hindu wing, anti-Hindu wing, etc. So Paksharupa he is of the form of wings, basically that which helps us to fly, that which helps us to get liberated. So Paksharupahacha, he gives us wings. Ati Deepto. So there's a very nice quote by Rumi. Rumi is one of the Persian poets. He says, addressing all of us as laymen, he says, you have been given wings to fly, yet you choose to crawl on the earth. So spread your wings out and make the flight. That is what he says. A very nice quote. So we all crawl on the ground. At least I am crawling on the ground. Uh, Thinking ourselves as being very limited, very small. Just this Sudarshan, this body of this 6 foot body, 60 kgs, etc., etc. But he says, and all these people have already said that there is somehow always say in unison that we are not just these mere mortals that we think we are. So let us all explore what we are beyond being just mortals. Paksharupascha, he is the wings. Ati Deeptaha, most illumined. Ati Deeptaha, most illumined. Vishampatihi, he is the lord of Visha. Visha is not the poison, okay? This is Visha, Sha. So that's why there's always this difference between the Sha, called the, smiling Sha. When you smile and try to say Sha, that is that exact pronunciation of Vishampati. Whereas the Visha is when you roll the tongue. Visha, Visha, that is poison. So Vishampati he is the lord of all humans, Homo sapiens. That is called Visha. Vishampati. Unmado, he is the greatest intoxication. Unmada. We say, why do people actually take intoxicants, right? To escape their, daily turmoils and to escape from whatever troubles they have. So intoxication, but Shiva is the greatest intoxicant. He's the greatest hallucinogen. He's the greatest psychedelic, because that is what these great sages and yoginis have told, that once they have reached this state of Shiva, and it is not just a person, by the way, once they have reached this state, they there is such a great attraction, like he is the black hole. So once you come very close to the black hole, you're done, right? So there is no going back from a black hole. So once you are in that particular, I think it's called the Schwarzschild radius or something. So until there is a point of return. But from that sphere onwards, from that magnetic field and gravitational field of that black hole, once you step into it, then there is no return. You can only go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into Shiva. So This is what these great saints who keep going into samadhi have explained to us. So these saints, they are said to be just on that circle of influence of Shiva and the world. So they can just go a little in and they can also come out a little and then tell us the beauty of how powerful that black hole, which is Shiva, is. So he is the greatest intoxicant that this is such an addictive drug he is, that once you start tasting him, you will feel everything, every other joy of the world to be distasteful, to be very limited. See, once, to give a very crude example, I mean, I'm very sorry, there's no male member in this audience, but once you have reached a certain state of ecstasy, either through physical means, and you know what I'm trying to say, right? So orgasms. So once you have reached that, there is a complete cessation of any other desire. You just want to sleep, right? So there's a complete cessation of everything. And even if I give an ice cream at that time, I would not like to have it. I just want to be with myself. So similarly, this and this is just a mortal joy. So Shiva is that into thousand. So to that extent, he is an intoxicant and very addictive. Madanaha means he is very attractive and very addictive. Madanaha, Kamaha, he is lust itself. He is the desire itself. Hyashvathaha, he Ashwathaha, he is the people tree. Ashwatha. अधश्चोर्ध्वम् ऊर्ध्वमूलमधः शाखम् अश्वत्थम् प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्. So says Shri Krishna in the 15th chapter. So he says the samsara, this world, can be visualized as being a people tree, that religiosa, ficus religiosa that we worship, right? Which has its root upwards while its stem is down. So an inverted tree. Why is that so? Because this tree of samsara is drawing its nutrition from that top, upar wala. We say, right? In Hindi, we say upar wala. Mele Bhagavanta. So it is drawing its nutrition from there, it's drawing its existence from there, and it is flowering and fruiting into multiplicities, which is why it has one root above, while multitude of branches, lot of plurality in the world, lot of diversification, lot of sophistication has grown to become this world. So he is that Ashwatha, he is that tree himself, and Arthakaraha, he is the one who adds purpose. Artha, again, it's not just wealth, it is meaning, purpose. Artha karaha, artham karoti. He gives meaning, he puts meaning, he makes a meaning to our lives. And yashaha, his success. You see, these shlokas, if you have observed the pattern, there will always be a good mixture of bhukti and mukti. You see, these elements of material, how he is a theistic God, that is, one who must be approached to ask for some material things. See, Yashaha, success, he Pakshi, and so there are some elements where he is a benevolent God. There are other elements where he is a very philosophical, that abstract godness. He is he is described in other words as Ishvara, that is, as the most magnanimous um, beatitude of this universe. And at other places, he is just described as being the some parts or the whole of universe itself. So there's only these three things. There can only be Ishvara, Jagat, and Jiva, the soul, the world, and God. So these shlokas, any which shloka, necessarily must talk about Shiva as being one of these three, one or more of these three. So we have seen that. Pakshi cha paksharupascha atidipto vishampatihi unmado madanah kamo yashvathorthakaro yasha वामदेवश्च वामश्च प्राग्दक्षिणश्च वामनः सिद्धयोगी महर्षिश्च सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसाधकः वामदेवश्च वामश्च प्राग्दक्षिणश्च वामनः. What is this word? Prag Dakshinash Vamanaha. Vamadevascha Vamascha Prag Dakshinas Vamanaha. Vamadevascha Vamascha Prag Dakshinas Vamanaha. Siddha Yogi Maharshish Cha Siddharthas Siddh excuse me Siddha Sadhakaha. What's it saying? Vamadeva. Vamadeva is, so it's actually technically one of the faces of Shiva. So there are 5 faces. What are they? Sadyojata. Maybe I'll send this across in the group, the list. Sadyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha, and Ishara. So there are 5 aspects. What are they? Sadyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha, and Ishana. So that is the 5 aspects or the 5 most uh, spontaneous manifestations of Shiva. Vamadeva is that Lord, who the manifestation, who is the summation of all knowledge and gurus. So he is called the Vamadeva. In fact, there was also a rishi called Vamadeva himself. And let me tell you, my God, the literature that Vamadeva, the rishi Vamadeva has poured out. We don't know for sure if it is Shiva himself, which is referred to as Vamadeva in that particular Upanishad, or if it is another rishi by name Vamadeva. But I mean, I think many of you may know of this Siddhanta called Advaita. And so Vamadeva is said to be one of the most Advaitic rishis ever. In fact, I would classify him to be more radical than Yajnavalkya and the old rishis too. So, one of the most severe, most radical, and most abstract of all philosophers, you can say. So, that was Vamadeva. And in this manifestation of him being Vamadeva is the summation of all knowledge systems, and the gurus. So all gurus are just Shiva himself. Vamascha, he is the left path. Prag means east. Dakshina means south. Cha Vamanaha. He is also a Vamana, like the young Vatus, we say, right? The just about to get Upanayanam, those young boys. So dwarfs. So we call them Vamanas or Vatus. He is also most uh, spontaneously and most evidently present in such young kids too. He is left, Vama, Prak, east, and Dakshina, that is south. Of course, he's also west, but it is not told in this particular sloka. Siddha Yogi, he is the greatest Siddha. So now this Siddha Parampara is there more so in south and the Dravida landscape, right? So in Telugu and Karnataka and Tamil regions, there are these particular sects of yogis called the Siddhas. They are also basically the same, just a name. I mean, they follow just slightly different rituals here and there, and so they have the name Siddha. Maharshi, he is the yogi from the Vedic times. So Maharshi Siddhartha, he has fulfilled his purpose. Siddha Artha, who has fulfilled his meaning, is called a Siddhartha. Siddha Sadhakaha, he is the one who guides. Sadhaka means here to guide the Siddhas themselves. He is the guru of the Siddhas too. वामदेवश्च वामश्च प्राग्दक्षिणश्च वामनः सिद्धयोगी महर्षिश्च सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसाधकः भिक्षुश्च भिक्षुरूपश्च विपणो मृदुरव्ययः महासेनो विशाखश्च षष्टिभागो गवाम्पतिः भिक्षुश्च भिक्षुरूपश्च च विपणो मृदुरव्ययः महासेनो विशाखश्च षष्टिभागो गवाम्पतिः भिक्षुश्च भिक्षुरूपश्च विपणो मृदुरव्ययः महासेनो विशाखश्च षष्टिभागो गवाम्पतिः. Bhikshu is, of course, most popularized by the Buddhism. Bhikshu is the beggar. I mean, basically the sadhu or the sannyasi who has to beg. Bhikshu Rupaha. He is also of the form of bhikshus. So there are two bhikshus here. So which refers to what? The first bhikshu refers to the sannyasi, and the second bhikshu refers to the actual beggar, the beggar on the streets. Bhikshu Rupaha. So he is both. You see, both ends of the spectrum. A beggar who is at the bottom of civilization or of society, and the bhikshu, which is the sannyasi who is the most acclaimed, most renowned, revered person of society, which is even greater than the king himself sometimes. So that is the sannyasi. Even in terms of evolution and spiritual maturity, the beggar has the least, while the sannyasi has the most. So he is of both forms. He spans the entire spectrum. And Vipana is one who does merchandise. So one who trades. He is a trader, Vipanaha. Mruduhu. Mruduhu means, now by the way, Vipana literally means one who exchanges, like I said, one who trades. So it represents everybody in between this spectrum. Because a beggar does not trade, he only it's only a one-sided business. He only receives. That's a beggar. While a sannyasi only gives. So there is no trade there also. He gives knowledge, he gives powers, he gives himself to the world. So that is the other end. While all of us in between are all traders. We are all trading one thing for another, one thing for another. You see, I am trading some knowledge with you, whatever I have. You guys are trading your existence and recognition with me. You guys are trading something else for your livelihood. I am also trading something else for my livelihood. We are trading something with our children. We depend on them for our future needs. They depend on us for their immediate needs. So all of our relationships are all very transactional, though we may or may not admit to it. So Shiva is the Vipana. There's nothing bad to it, but he is also Shiva, and he represents all sorts of exchanges, all transactions, and we people come in between the two spectrums. I mean the two heads, the beggar and the sannyasi. Mruduhu avyayaha. He is mrudu, very soft, very supple. Mrudu, very cute. And he is avyaya. At the same time, he is the indestructible. So mrudu, because he may have a very glamorous skin, very cute skin, all these Ravi Verma depictions of on our calendars of Shiva, very cute, he has no beard, no masculine facial hair. Of course, he looks very cute and chubby and smooth. And then he's also Avyaya. He is also the indestructible. He is that philosophical background of all of all knowledge systems. Mahasenaha, he has a very great army. Vishakha, Vishakha is the so it has two meanings. One is the nakshatra Vishakha. One of the 27 constellations is Vishakha, and the other is, you know, one who has a lot of branches is called Vishakha. Means, like we said, he's the Ashwatha tree which has branched out into multitude of forms of phenomenon. I am sitting before a laptop, and in the laptop itself, there is so much diversity and so much plurality. There is the keyboard, there is the metal, there are the plastic components, all of them looking very, very different, very diverse. So he is that Vishakha, which are all branches of that one tree of existence. Vishakha. Shashti Bhagaha. Shashti means 60. You see, it's very close. Shashti is 60. And probably the etymology is from Samskrta word itself. Shashti and 60 are very closely related. 60 Bhaga means 1 by 60th. He is that 1 by 60th component, Shashti Bhaga. So what is this 1 by 60th component? You see, in king's rule in earlier times, they used to lay a tax. There are two taxes, Shashtamsha and Shashti Bhaga. Shashtamsha is like income tax, means charging one-sixth of any value, of any transactional value. So if I give you 100 rupees, one-sixth of it, which is 16 rupees, I must pay to the king. And Shashti Bhaga is 1/60th. So this Shashti Bhaga is 1/60th of 100. So which is about 1.6 rupees. I must donate to to the king itself, like GST. Something like GST you can think. And that the king has to use for uh, you know like danas. He should give away all that 1/60th component of all the total revenue as danas. The other one-sixth component that he gets from as the revenue from all of us, he must use, of course, for the welfare only, but for the usual, the errands and day-to-day transactions and routines of the business of the government. While 1/60th has to always be donated away. So what is it trying to say here? Shashti Bhaga is that 1/60th component, which means he is that money which is given towards donation, towards charity, which is why that money is very holy. Gavam patihi. Gavam is go. Cow. COW. Cow is go. Gavam patihi. He is the lord of cattle. भिक्षुश्च भिक्षुरूपश्च विपणो मृदुरव्ययः महासेनो विशाखश्च षष्टिभागो गवाम्पतिः वज्रहस्तश्च विष्कम्भी च मूस्तम्भन एव च वृत् वृत्तावृत्तकरस्तालो मधुकलोचनः. See it carefully. वज्रहस्तश्च विष्कम्भी च मूस्तम्भन एव च वृत्तावृत्तकरस्तालो मधुकलोचनः. वज्रहस्तश्च विष्कम्भी च मूस्तम्भन एव च वृत्तावृत्तकरस्तालो मधुकलोचनः. So Vajrahasta means one who has the Vajra in his hand. So what is the Vajra? It's the Vajrayudha of Indra, of course. Vajra means that weapon which was crafted by the lightning of the clouds, which is the harvested energy of the lightning. So a very electrical equipment. Vajrahastascha Vishkambhi. I will get back to you about the meaning of this. And Chamu Stambhana Evacha. Chamu means the Sainya. Stambhana means one who causes the entire Sainya itself to stop, to freeze, to halt. Chamu Stambhana, one who halts the entire army alone. And I'm just checking out the meaning of Vishkambhi. It says it is one who is obstructing, one who is impeding. Okay, so that's the meaning of Vishkambhi, one who impedes the Sainyas and one who halts the Sainyas. Vishkambhi Chamu Stambhana Evacha. Evacha are just fillers. They have no meaning. Vritta Vritta Karaha. Vritta means circle. Literally, it means a circle. Vritta Vritta Kara here refers to him being able to create a battle formation in a circle and disperse it away in a circle, which means like draw a circle and erase a circle, make a circular formation and then disperse it away from not being a circular formation. So that is called a vritta vritta karaha. It refers to a particular way. We have heard of chakra view and all. So there is a particular formation where you ambush the enemy using certain geometric shapes. So that is the vritta and avrittakara. He makes those formations and he also dissolves those formations. Talaha. Tala is, he's the beats, he's the rhythm. In Sangeeta, we say tala. Madhur. Madhu means he is very sweet, very sweet, very kind, very polite, very humble. Madhuhu. Madhuka lochanaha. Lochana is the eyes. Madhuka means like bees, bumblebees. His eyes move like bumblebees. Madhuka lochanaha. And they're also very dark and striped like the bumblebees. Even the eyelashes represent the legs of those bumblebees. Madhuka Lochanaha, very nice, poetic description of his eyes. Madhuka Lochanaha. In fact, that is the very same description if you read the Saundarya Lahari, also of Parvati. You see, Shiva and Shakti are very intimately linked. And in fact, when in one of the verses, Adi Shankaracharya describes Parvati as being very greedy. Why? You see, in the form of Ardhanarishwara, you have a clear cut distinction between Shiva and Parvati, though they are joined in the middle. But in Kanchi, as I mean, Meenakshi, when he's describing her as Lalita Tripura Sundari, he says, "Oh mother, you are so greedy. Shame on you for being so greedy because you, though are typical, I mean, are in truth an Ardhanarishwara, that you play equal and um, balanced components of Shakti and Shiva, the masculine and feminine. What did you know? You in Madurai at least, you conquered the other half also. So you took over Shiva's right side, Shiva's other half also, and because of which you have morphed into some kind of a deity where you have gobbled up all his signs of taking the Chandra. So Shiva had the Chandra, so now she has the Chandra. So Shiva had bee eyes, now you have bee eyes. Shiva had this jata, and that you have a mixture of both jata and your silk hair. And so that is a very nice, beautiful description in Saundarya. It comes. Maybe we can take that scripture up. I don't know when, but so that is how Shiva and Shakti are the not even the different parts of the same coin, but in fact they are the same coin itself. They are the same side, the same part, the same coin itself. Madhuka Lochanaha. वज्रहस्तश्च विष्कम्भी चमूस्तम्भन एव च वृत्तावृत्तकरस्तालो मधुर्मधुकलोचनः वाचस्पत्यो वाजसनो नित्यमाश्रमपूजितः ब्रह्मचारी लोकचारी सर्वचारी विचारवित् वाचस्पत्यो वाजसनो नित्यम् आश्रमपूजितः ब्रह्मचारी लोकचारी सर्वचारी विचारवित् वाचस्पत्यो वाजसनो नित्यमाश्रमपूजितः ब्रह्मचारी लोकचारी सर्वचारी विचारवित्. Vajaspatya, he is the words of or the knowledge of uh, the Vedas. So he is the Pati, the Lord of all the words. So here words literally doesn't just mean A, B, C, D, not those words. Words here refers to those sounds or those that media which carry the meaning. So in fact, the Samskrita word vak or vach is not just vyakta. The actual word is vyaktayam vachi. It means which is an expression. So even art can be thought of being vak, art, art, because it is an expression of what? Of feelings, of some abstract notion. Even this laptop is a vak because it is an expression, it's a medium of transfer of knowledge. So in that large sense, vach means all media which is used to convey information and knowledge. He is the media lord. Vachaspatya. Vajasanaha. Vajasana is one of the rishis. Vajasanaha. So many of you may have heard of the Vajasanayi Samhita, which is one of the shakhas of Yajurveda. So Vajasana is one of the rishis who was also like Shiva, very ascetic. Nityam ashrama pujitaha. Nityam, he is eternal. There is no question of his destruction or birth. He is forever present, unchanging. Ashrama pujitaha. Ashrama pujitaha. He is worshipped by all the four ashramas. What are those ashramas? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So he is worshipped by the people belonging to the four different stages of life. One as the learner, the Brahmachari. Second as the trader, one who exchanges and participates in the worldly activities, the Grihastha. Third is as the recliner, one who is about to retreat and recline away from responsibilities. Slowly, he is going through that phase, which is the Vanaprastha. And finally, the ascetic, one who has given up all relations to the world, at least the material relations. That is the sannyasi. So he is worshipped in all the four stages of life. He is worthy of being worshipped in all the four stages of life. Brahmachari, he is himself the Brahmachari. Lokachari, one who is the householder. He's also called Lokachari because he walks in the world, he participates in the worldly transactions. Lokachari. Sarvachari, he is like the Vanaprasthi who travels, he goes all to these, religious spots. So once we are retired, this Vanastha, this Vanaprasthi has retired, he starts going to all these ashramas everywhere throughout the world. There's always this concept of pilgrimage, right? So once you have done with your duties, he is expected, he or she is expected to go on such pilgrimage. So he's Sarvachari. And fourth, he is the Vicharavit. Now, after having traveled everywhere and seen the world, the wisdom has dawned on him. And so now he has retired into his cave as a sannyasi to do vichara, to ponder on the, and to, marinate in the stew of knowledge. Vichara with. वाचस्पत्यो वाजसनो नित्यमाश्रमपूजितः ब्रह्मचारी लोकचारी सर्वचारी विचारवित्. Hello, am I audible now? Thank you. वाचस्पत्यो वाजसनो नित्यमाश्रमपूजितः ब्रह्मचारी लोकचारी सर्वचारी विचारवित्. One last and we'll wind up. ईशान ईश्वरः कालो निशाचारी पिनाकवान् निमित्तस्थो निमित्तं च नन्दिर्नन्दिकरो हरिः. ईशान ईश्वरः कालो निशाचारी पिनाकवान् निमित्तस्थो निमित्तं च नन्दिर्नन्दिकरो हरिः. ईशान ईश्वरः कालो निशाचारी पिनाकवान् निमित्तस्थो निमित्तं च नन्दिर्नन्दिकरो हरिः. Ishana, he is the supreme lord, the boss. Ishana, Ishvara, again, it's synonymous with Ishana. So Ishana means one who is still controlling. So that's the only subtle difference. Ishana means one who is still controlling or running the world. Ishvara, one who is worthy of ruling the world. So that's a very subtle difference. Ishana, Ishvara. Kala, he is time. Nishachari. I mean, we have already seen this multiple times. What does it mean, Nishachari?
Facing the same problem. It's
Okay, am I audible now?
coming on and off.
Okay, so let me just reconnect. Okay, is it better now? Is my audio audible?
Yes. Yes. Right.
Okay. So I was saying Ishvara is one who is worthy of being the Lord, and Ishana is one who is currently ruling over us. Kalaha is time. Nishachari. What I was asking, what is the meaning of Nishachari? Can anybody answer?
It's at night.
Exactly. One who walks at night. Nishachari. So basically represents the demons because the demons and the dead people are said to walk in the night. So he is also that. Pinakavan. He has this dhanush, this bow called the Pinaka. Pinaka hasta, we say, right? So he has this Pinaki bow, and then he is Nimitta sthaha. He stays or he is visible in the nimittas. Here, nimitta refers to, it's a technical term in astrology. It refers to the omens, O-M-E-N, omen. So any sign, S-I-G-N, sign of good or bad is called a nimitta. So nimittastaha means he is that intuition, that gut feeling, that or the omens which are seen around indicate as indicators of some event. Is the premonition basically. Nimittam, he is also the uh, you know, he is the underlying message of the omens and he is the omen itself. So, for example, the cry of a wolf is said to be the omen, whereas the meaning behind it is, you know, something bad is about to happen. So, for example, let's say, and someone is about to die. Maybe that is the meaning. I'm just making this up. So the nimittastha means he is also the underlying meaning, the message of the omen, and the omen itself, the howling of the wolf. Nandir. Nandihi means he is, of course, the Vahana Nandi. Nandikaraha. He brings joy. He brings bliss into our lives. Nandikaraha. Nandim karoti. He brings elation. He brings ecstasy. Nandikaraha. Hari. Hari means the dissolver. Hara means the destroyer. Hari means the dissolver. So, any inputs? Let's talk to our great people here. So, please, any inputs that you would like to share? Any? I mean, it's really great that all the four of you have been really attending this very regularly. My namaskarams and hats off to you. I am blessed and honored that you people have been there. Hmm?
Thankful to you.
No, it's my pleasure. Any questions? Any inputs?
People are bad.
So Ashwatha technically is the people tree, Ficus religiosa, whereas Nyagrodha is called the banyan tree. Nyagrodha is banyan, whereas Ashwatha is the people tree. Sometimes in Samskritam I mean, they are used interchangeably, but and that's a slight problem with plant naming, plant taxicology. Taxonomy, sorry, taxonomy, that we don't have really clear. For example, amra sometimes refers to the mango, and sometimes refers to the amla fruit also. I mean that problem is there, but yeah, for now we can just take Ashwatha as being people tree. Nyagrodha, Nyagrodha, Nyagrodha. Thank you. Any other questions? Any inputs? Anything you want to add to the meanings? Please go on.
I just want to
I am sorry. Maybe it is a problem on my side, the connection. I didn't hear your question, ma'am. Okay, is it my voice or is it Madam Bhavani's voice? Okay. Uh, yes, 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 ma'am. Yeah. DISS, dissolve, dissolve. So Hari is a word used to represent he who dissolves. Means I gave this example of sugar. If you dissolve sugar in water, it is only dissolved. So it still stays in its essence. But destroy is hara. It means just to completely evaporate the water itself so that you don't even have sugar left. So that's he is both. Yes. One second, Pushpa. 1 second, Pushpa, ma'am. Yes, go on, Bhavani, ma'am.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing that Hari also stands for Vishnu, isn't it?
Correct,
So
correct,
here it's the context. We have to understand through the context.
correct, correct. And Hari himself, actually, the word Hari also means a monkey. It also means a lion. It also means a fox. So yeah, that's for good or the bad. Samskrta has a lot of similar sounding words with lots of, I mean, homonyms we say, right? So it has. But yeah, in this context, you can take it in either way as being both Vishnu himself or also as the dissolver. Thank you. Yes, you were saying, Pushpa ma'am, you were. Uh, please go on. Meena ma'am.
Each shlokas are like in Vishnu Sahasranama or Hanuman Chalis.
Mm.
Each shloka is meant for some reason for work or for education purpose like that. Is there any palashruti for each shloka here?
No, not for every shloka, but in the beginning itself we discussed. So it says, um, you get everything. Like, let me just go to that shloka.
So significance is only chanting without a desire.
No, no, it need not be. The in the okay, in the towards the end, let me just look at the Palashruti. Hmm, I'm just finding that particular shloka to give it with better reference. So one is you get the bhakti. That's what it says here. One, you get bhakti. शृण्वन्तश्च श्रावयन्तश्च कथयन्तश्च ते भवं स्तुवन्तस्तूयमानाश्च तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. So this is talking about जन्मकोटिसहस्रेषु नानासंसारयोनिषु जन्तोर्विगतपापस्य भवे भक्तिः प्रजायते. The first most important benefit you get by chanting this, not you, like everybody, all of us will get by chanting this with bhakti is of course bhave bhakti. We get our love for Shiva increases one. Secondly, let me just find. Second is for mukti. Now, which is why this shloka in this stotram itself is not very popular because it imbues vairagya in samsara. Samsara tan samudharet. So it induces vairagya in our minds. So it not to say it doesn't work for material benefits, it more so propels us towards a direction away from the world. So that is definitely there, which is why. So even Shiva himself, as this tattva of Shiva, is shown as a Vairagi. So he is not really approached, though the Rakshas and the Devas would approach him in times of calamity or if they wanted some power. It has always been Vishnu, the tattva of Vishnu, which has taken avatars and blessed people. And it is also Parvati, which has taken as a mother to suckle and nourish her children for our material desires. But Shiva is shown as the father. So, if we want 10 rupees, a pocket money, we don't really go to our father. We go and ask our mother and we get our job done. Because there's always this unapproachability with the father. So but father is also important because uh, he keeps us secure, one. Secondly, he gives us a higher purpose in life and he helps us out in the higher phases of life. Not that mother is doing anything less, but they have different roles to play. So I would say this stotram in line, in tune with what it represents, with whom it represents. It represents Shiva. Though it says Swargadam Toshadam, you will get all kinds of joy, you'll get Swarga, you'll get Moksha and Yoga also. The predominant theme and benefit of chanting this is definitely Papa Nashana. To remove all sins and finally go to Vrajantyetam Gatim Tada, to finally go to the place of Shankara itself, that is to go to get Mukti. So definitely to answer your question in short, there is no shloka by shloka palashruti, unlike in Saundarya Lahari, where Saundarya Lahari you have tantra and diagrams for and benefits for every shloka for the 100 shlokas also. I don't know. I've not heard for Vishnu Sahasranama, but if we look at the palashruti of Vishnu Sahasranama, yes, you get what is that? Dharmartho prapnuyat dharmam artharthi chartham apnuyat kamanavapnuyat kami prajarthi chapnuyat prajam, and so on and so forth. So if you want dhana, you'll get dhana. If you want putra, you'll get putras. If you want better job, you'll get a better job, etc., etc. Because Vishnu, ultimately, I will explain in the next class. There's a secret that Vishnu actually is an amsha of Parvati itself, and I will explain this in the next class. But anyway, so Vishnu and Parvati are known to help the world more than Shiva. So yes, this stotram is more inclined towards dispassion, and which is pretty evident in the class strength too. Only those who are actually keen upon dispassion, or at least who have fulfilled their material aspirations, are here. So that's also quite telling of the power and the intention of this stotram. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Please go on.
Question, but we take it up in any other day or at any other time. But like, the Vedic sense, it probably means getting unification.
Hmm.
Then it seems like it is moksha or mukti when it is more identification with the Saguna Brahma. Not the Nirguna. So identification with Nirgun Brahman and Sagun Brahman
Hmm.
both refer to moksha and mukti.
Correct.
These shape these two mokshas and
Okay, I will give you only a technical answer as far as I know, ma'am, because I am actually, I definitely don't have any experience in that, like direct experience in this matter, nor do I have any conceptual experience. So I can tell you what technically what the scriptures say. It's a very powerful question, but so to my limited knowledge, so first of all, let me clear that mukti is equal to moksha. They are just synonyms. Mukti is moksha. And secondly, yes, the Advaita moksha is very different from the Bhakti moksha. So now this Bhakti wala moksha is, like you rightly have pointed out, the unification with the Saguna deity, whoever is our Ishta. Maybe here Shiva, or in this case Vishnu, Krishna, maybe whoever. So that is, you're right. In that sense, they call actually as Sayujyam. So there are four stages: Salokyam, Sarupyam, Samipyam, and then Sayujyam. Uh, so Sayujyam is that finally becoming a part of the deity, that is called, or merging with the deity is called Sayujyam, and that technically is called their moksha. That is how they define moksha. So when the lovers meet together, so that is when the ultimate bliss happens, which is what they call as moksha. That, yes, of course, it is about Saguna. Whereas the Advaiti Parampara, they define moksha as Janma Marana Chakrat Vimuktihi. So the release from Janma and Marana. So that phenomenon, or reaching that state from by which there will be no further births nor deaths, is called Mukti. That is the technical definition. But yes, as Swami Vivekananda and the others have told, it is Atma Jnana, the identification with ourselves, or Brahma Jnana, which is identity with the cosmic principle. You're right. That is how they define moksha. The yogas define moksha as kaivalya. Kaivalya means aloneness. That is when they have been success. So the philosophy says, again, this is only scriptural knowledge. I have no experience. They say Purusha and Prakriti have intermingled, which is what has caused the jiva. So the jiva's effort is to untangle this mesh of Purusha and Prakriti, like X and Y axis, it has become a grid. So now the Jiva's purpose is to untangle it and to separate out the Purusha from the Prakriti. And when this complete separation happens, is what they call as Kaivalya, which somehow is also synonymous with moksha. So they are defined very differently in their respective paradigms. Whether or not all these three states are again synonymous or if they are equivalent, I am actually not the right person, ma'am. Sadly. Sorry. Hmm. Okay. Did somewhat answer your question? Did it somewhat answer your question?
Yes, yes, of course, yes. But actually, one point remains that, like they say, this rebirth then is not there in the Advaitic thing. So even if there is this creation, successive creation, resolution, creation, resolution. So for the person in Advaitic mukti or moksha, there is no rebirth in any of those. No,
Correct.
And if it is union with the saguna,
Correct.
then there can be rebirth in the next kalpa.
True, true. Correct. Yeah. Actually, make a valid point. Correct. Yeah. I think, yeah. So actually, now that you say that, it makes sense because maybe that is why these bhaktas are like, no, Narada takes birth. Even though he's a bhakta, he may have sayujya. So he does take births, and yeah, probably true. Hmm.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Wonderful question and lovely discussion. Thank you. Okay, namaste, everybody. Namaste. Meet you. हाँ, धन्यवाद.
Guruji.
नमस्ते.